you're the president, you have to continue calling the Epstein issue a hoax. This is just another day. Despite Trump's best and, let's face it, worst efforts, his nemesis continues to rear his ugly head. I speak, of course, of Donald's dead pedophile bestie, Jeffrey Epstein.
We want to take you live now to Capitol Hill, where survivors of Jeffrey Epstein are speaking alongside members of Congress. This comes as House Democrats and at least a few House Republicans are pushing for the Justice Department to release all files related to the Epstein case beyond what was released by the House Oversight Committee last night.
President Trump, you have so much influence and power in this situation. Please use that influence and power to help us, because we need it now and this country needs it now.
Wow, a stunning and emotional plea from one of the many survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's horrific crimes. One can only hope that Donald Trump hears the desperation in their voices and does the right thing.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
Or that.
They're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president. Even if you look at D.C. right now, D.C., it's a totally safe zone. It's called a safe zone. That's a term. It's a term of art.
Well, here, I actually agree with the president. Today's stories of past tragic abuse and current attempts at closure by the more than 200 survivors of Epstein's attacks are totally irrelevant to what Trump has done since coming into office. And that's sort of the point. Perhaps naively, I have faith that someone who rises to the position of Commander-in-Chief of the United States and who just today is capable of describing DC's complex safe zone with this level of specificity,
it's a safe zone because it's very safe,
can also multitask and bring about justice for anyone culpable in Epstein's crimes. Unless there's something I'm missing?
I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough, because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having.
Ah, this one's on me then. Seems like that whole multitasking idea isn't possible because there just isn't enough time to talk about both. If Donald Trump were to focus on holding people, possibly himself, accountable for being involved with a billionaire child molester, then those 3.5-hour-long cabinet meetings where his team verbally fillets him would have to last even longer, and that just isn't possible. Unfortunately, it really comes down to the lesser of two evils. Either Epstein's victims suffer or the president's ego suffers. And when that's the choice Trump faces, can you really blame him? Look, obviously all of the coverage the Epstein victims are getting is the last thing Trump wants. But short of sending in, F-16 fighter jets into the sky to disrupt their press conference, what can he really do?
Department of Justice telling me that this was going to happen when it had already happened. This woman abused children.
Okay. Now, Trump claims that the flyover was to honor the life of a Polish pilot who recently passed, but I wouldn't put it past him that the next time Epstein's victims decide to speak out, the president finds that to be the perfect opportunity to launch his new patriotic kitchen appliance, the Trump blender.
We are the Americans that you promised to protect. And we need your help.
I'm sorry, it's a little hard to hear your trauma over the sound of this reasonably priced, top-of-the-line, 1,500-watt motor that comes in a variety of freedom-loving speeds and can pulverize any food item into a smoothie, soup, or sauce, the same way Donald Trump pulverizes anyone's attempt to release the Epstein files. Now, the reason the Epstein files have popped up again, besides the fact that Trump, J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and everyone else who promised to release the files has not done it, is because Congress is back in session and Republican Representative Thomas Massie is refusing to toe the party line. Massie has broken rank with the GOP and is looking to gain enough signatures to bypass House leadership and force a vote on a bill that would release the Epstein files via a discharge petition versus continuing the current method where Trump's DOJ curates what gets handed over to them to the House Oversight Committee. And the White House is totally cool with what Massie is doing. Totally.
Now, the White House has warned Republicans not to side with Massie. Even a White House official telling reporters last night that this would be viewed as an act of hostility.
An act of hostility. Where have I heard that before?
It was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this, since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon.
Just so we're keeping score, Amazon's attempt at transparency on how the tariffs affect the cost of goods and Massey's attempt at transparency on the Epstein files are acts of hostility, but the actual acts of hostility perpetuated by these two vile human beings are a tired hoax, and people need to just shut up and start talking about how packed restaurants are in DC. Got it. Well, you're never going to believe who's also signed on to this act of hostility.
This isn't a hostile act towards the administration. The hostile act has been against these women for so many years now. The hostile act is covering up for Jeffrey Epstein and everyone else that's been involved in this.
Wow. Pretty stunning to see Marjorie Taylor Greene go after Trump like this. Even more awkward is the fact that she's got some hat shopping to do. But while the Epstein issue was taking center stage outside the Capitol building, inside, the Republican-led House was also doing the people's work by inviting UK Reform Party leader Nigel Farage to testify about how free speech is being curtailed in Britain, to which Stephen Colbert replied, "Hold my beer." Now, while the GOP wanted Farage to focus on one topic, it turns out there's a whole other political party that gets to ask questions too.
Have you heard about the Epstein thing that's going on here?
I have.
You have? What do you think about it?
I'm not going to give comment on anything happening in America. I'm here as a witness.
Perfect. You think the list should come out? You think we should know the people who dealt with Mr. Epstein, Mr. Farage?
I thought I was coming to a hearing on free speech, not process.
You think people in power should be held to account for these victims who have been sexually abused and assaulted? You think the list should come out?
I think that I'm very happy to come to a different hearing where you talk about legal process.
Okay.
Apparently, the British version of I plead the fifth is I am very happy to come back and talk process. I love it. It's so regal and prestigious, really makes you forget you're being stonewalled. The reality is, Republicans can twist themselves into as many knots as they want, and Donald Trump can conduct as many totally legitimate F-16 flyovers as his heart desires, but until the world gets all the information they are owed, this Epstein issue ain't going away. Trump can try and obfuscate day in and day out, but he's really just prolonging the pain. If the president gave the American people the truth, the way he and his minions promised they would during the campaign, then this issue would be behind us. But instead, it is being dragged out for months without any clear explanation as to why, which leads everyone to the same question over and over again. Who is actually being protected here? It's not the victims who are begging Trump to take them seriously and help provide them with closure. It's not the MAGA voters who were fed lie after lie that once Donald Trump got into office, the truth would come out. No, the ones being protected are the people like Ghislaine Maxwell, who knows if she says what the president wants to hear, she can look forward to even more favorable treatment like getting transferred to a country club prison. Trump is protecting people like his attorney general, who swore these files were on her desk, but now can't seem to find those darn things anywhere. But most of all, Trump is protecting himself. Thanks to the ketamine king, we know Trump is in the files. So for a guy who claims that this is all a hoax and there's nothing to see here, he's putting forth a Herculean effort to make sure we don't get to see any of that nothing. Donald Trump can do as much denying, name-calling, and distracting as he wants, but until the full Epstein files are released, the world will not be silent. People deserve transparency that they were promised in... Oh, come on! Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for